This was made by Thomas Nevisol, Thomas Johansson. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him from his videos, very inspirational. Fire dancer, he was really into precision. It's like 10, 15 years ago. And so he has this like really fine right point here and this really unique grip with a pinch point here. I think these are really cool poi.
They feel really cool.
Yeah, they do. They got this really heavy concentration of mass there. These are very popular in Thailand. People go out there to learn fire dancing, buy these on the streets. These are some poi we made out of old crystal cases for teaching kids, for donating. And these are some of the first commercially available sock poi that I'm aware of from South Africa, swivels.
Is your poi collection, Sean?
This is part of my poi collection.
Wow.
IKEA's first poi?
Okay.
IKEA, probably aware of. That's a pretty recent thing. I'm sure many of you have heard of spin balls. You probably didn't know spin balls made sock poi and tail poi at one point. Yeah. Balloon poi, surprisingly effective. Feel pretty good. Loop makes and sells poi. If you guys know Loop, the partner poi, innovative German crew. Yeah, the person that got me these for Christmas one year. These are hand-woven Japanese ball poi from Etsy, and some flowtoys day props. Zuni poi were the first commercially available poi in the U.S. and came very shortly after the first commercially available poi in the world, which were also tail poi from Homo poi. Yeah.
No, Comet Poi, I think, first. They were from New Zealand, but they were not from Homo Poi.
Oh, they weren't Homo poi?
No, they weren't.
Comet poi?
Comet Poi.
Okay.
Those were the first poi I learned on.
And then they absorbed them.
Not sure. But Zuni Poi, the person who created Zuni Poi was also the person who started the first spin jams in North America. And we have him to thank for a lot of things. He later became the North American marketing manager of Red Bull. And now
Vertical video.
on Instagram, and now owns a company that makes vape pens.
That's a quick overview of some of the day props I have. I have more, but there wasn't really room on the board for everything. And there's a bunch of key poi kind of missing. Someday these will all be in a proper flow arts museum with plaques under each one. The date they were made, story. I've got a little staff collection as well, but I'm not going to talk about that here. Light poi.
Podpoi Black. Oh, those are at my desk.
Those are in the office.
Yeah.
Sorry, we keep those under lock and key. Kind of volatile. These, I don't have the first poi that I made when I was in Australia in 1998, and decided I wanted to make LED poi for the world so that they could flow. But then, in order to start flowtoys, I needed actually a manufactured light unit, and the first one that came on the market was the street light. Which I don't know if any of you are familiar with the street lights. They're like this light stick that uses 4 little watch batteries and blinks and lights up, and it was made kind of as a sustainable alternative to chemical glow sticks for things like Halloween and street fairs and whatever, where kids would normally go through chemical glow sticks for safety and stuff. So it was marketed and sold for that, but the guy's son, so this guy Colt, he got into spinning and going through glow sticks, and he was like, I want a battery alternative to wasting glow sticks, and got his dad to start this company, worked with him, and then he took over the company for a while, and then actually gave it back to his dad. But yeah, they made these light sticks, and they were like just barely viable as poi. Like he was a very careful spinner, and so he didn't break them because he never collided them. But anybody who spun normally would just smash them and they would get destroyed. So I started making housings for them and came up with this system of tubes and caps, and that's kind of how flowtoys started, was using these light units with a protective housing. And being able to make everything from stabs and chucks and poi out of them. And then we were selling enough to be able to make our own light unit and made the flow light. And so the flow light, which is one inside here, was the first LED light stick made really for the flow arts, using a single AAA battery, being rechargeable, all that kind of thing. And then there was poi. Ogs are a mood lighting product that was made for mood lighting, not for spinning, but they're soft enough and durable, just durable enough. We would reinforce them with special glue and test them. And they had this charging base that they would sit in where like the contacts just kind of pressed on there. That would pretty quickly not work very well. That was annoying. But they made pretty great poi until we were able to make podpoi, the first soft poi designed specifically for spinning with our capsule light, which we could put in all these other housings and stuff. So that's kind of like a history of flow toys props.
What was the time between the flow light and capsule light?
So the time between Streetlight and Flowlight was 2005 was the first year that Sean and I did our first festival tour with Flow Toys with Streetlights. At the end of 2005 festival season, we were like, we have to make our own light. This little tiny screws and disposable battery thing is just not working out. The whole acrylic thing is just not working out. And at that time, Colt, who was also like a mentor and my friend, he was just saying, you guys should just make your own light. So Colt encouraged us to make the flow light, and we started designing it in the fall of 2005 and released it in 2007. And the capsule light was released first in podpoi in 2012. So between 2007 and 2012, it was the modular system was the next thing that we started working on after the flow light. So the connectors and the caps, the flower caps, I remember those. That was released in 2009. And capsule lights took a lot longer. We had a kid in 2010. That was, took up a lot of time.
These are all off-the-shelf parts. These are parts that I sourced from industrial suppliers. These caps are actually for protecting the ends of tubes and stuff in manufacturing and shipping and sales. And they only came in black. And in order to get them in clear, I had to order 4,000 of them. And so I had to start a company.
I remember recently I came back and returned a bunch of old things. Remember, Prisna? And then she was like, why do you have this? And I was like, these are from a performance in 2010, and I've just had like a handful of like the old tubes that I had to get for a performance. And they're just like tubes with the flower caps. And Prisna was like, how long have you had these? I'm like, since 2010. And I was like a handful of them. And she was like, I'm gonna return these. Go towards a new club.
Yes. Yeah, you get credit.
I did get credit. She was like, these are so old. And I'm like,
yeah, you still get, that's part of our crazy warranty. It's that you'll get something back
yeah.
as like thanks for supporting us through those awkward years.
I can't
And
remember.
it's a motivation to keep stuff out of landfill. I mean, that was a big part of starting Flow Toys and like figuring out how we were going to do it. Was how can we make this sustainable for the user? How can you buy a LED light thing, electronic device, and basically smash it as hard as you can over and over again with force multiplied at the end of a string, and like take two of them, collide them. You know, it's insane. So there's no way we can make them indestructible and nice to spin and affordable. So lifetime warranty and modular and repairable, and so we take everything back, we rework everything, we do everything we can to keep things at a landfill. Part of that's offering the trade-in program, and that's also, you know, for the user as well. And yeah, it's a lot of solid parts. Each individual part, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, podpoi were very much designed with that in mind, where if something goes wrong, it's just one little piece of it, and you can replace that. Yeah, so the caps, I mean, making a sustainable, usable, durable thing, I found it was really critical to have a housing and the light inside the housing and have a quick and easy way to get into that. And so I developed the click-in cap method, where there's buttons in the tube and in the cap that click in, so you can't normally pull it apart. It's a very old design. And then, yeah, that evolved, and we made it also waterproof and clicking even better and be softer with silicone. Working with urethane is a real challenge choosing plastics because urethane it's like what you make skate wheels out of. It's the most durable thing. It's aside from vinyl. So like vinyl is really durable and amazing plastic that's also very toxic to produce. And so we really didn't want to use vinyl if we could avoid it, which gave us two alternatives. Silicone, which has a tendency to tear and is soft. It doesn't, like you can't really get a very firm, hard silicone that could handle a small loop like this without stretching too much. And it also is very expensive. And so urethane, but urethane yellows, but you can put in UV inhibitors to make it not yellow, but that makes it weaker. And so we had a batch that didn't yellow, but the leash would tear out with heavy users. And so we've been riding this balance over the years of like, what will not look like this after a few seasons in the sun, but still be strong enough and durable enough to make a lasting prop. I mean, these are probably just as old as those. There's different batches, and there's actually 3 different blends of plastic there. Yeah, so that was a long road to silicone with polycarbonate inside of it for our caps. And yeah, looking at other ways of attaching things to the light. So here we don't need the loops to be strong. Now it's just a soft housing. And so kind of shifting more, evolving your designs. And we got some famous poi here. There's Alien Jon's poi. These were like tech poi was kind of like developed on these poi, which is pretty awesome. And Jonathan Alvarez, these are like gunslinger poi right here. I mean, we made these handles for Jonathan. He pretty much was like working with us to make a handle that he could do his thing with, and it really became, you know how much innovation came out of that. Prisoner's poi. Prisoner was also a highly influential poi spinner, and you probably don't know. Back in the day, she inspired countless people to start spinning poi just by making it beautiful and fun-looking and accessible. And these are foam poi covers that look like cast iron that a customer made and was selling for a minute. Really sweet. I wish I got more when he was making them. These are the first really solid mods that I know of, where somebody took our lights and made them into a product that I was like, okay, that substantially fills a need that I'm not filling right now. That's awesome. Keep doing it. These are from Chris Kelly, who's asleep. Okay. LanternSmith, spinoptics, fiber optic. This is from the original Kickstarter for spinoptics. Light up the leash. Crappiest light poi ever made. Enough said. Yeah. These are really fun. Spivers from Israel. Yeah, Israel. Wow. They light up when you spin them, which I think is cool and innovative. And they make really fun trails for a cheap thingy. And they're like hard as a rock, but surprisingly just durable enough with this thin like economy thing. Pretty cool. I mean, obviously the balance is thrown off by the fibers, but they're fun. Yeah, LED strip poi from Piraterra. Some of the first viable V's on the market. Zebra poi. Common poi's ninja poi. Don't hit yourself with those.
Beaming poi are missing from this. If
Future
anybody
poi,
has
I know, I
beaming
need to get beaming poi. If anybody has a pair of beaming
They were
poi,
the
I'll buy them
first.
off you. Home poi's rock hard spheres.
Shot put,
like,
light up poi.
they were
the OG.
like how to make
LED.
it durable, make it 2 pounds of solid plastic. Then AA batteries inside, little LEDs pointing out. Those were, yeah,
Lethal.
need those. Spinballs, I gotta hand it to Spinballs. I mean, Kevin has been doing the thing that I don't want to do. It's really hard to deal with distribution and large volume manufacturing and sales with low margins of a product that you can't, if you make it any more expensive, you just can't sell any. You know, there's like this line of, will people buy it on a whim and start spinning poi? You know, and he's like, Kevin is really driven by similar motivations that I am to share the flow arts with the world, and he's doing it in a way that, you know, you have to make some compromises, you know, to make it affordable enough that people will just buy it and try it, and you know, not everyone can start with really nice equipment, so
It's
we have
really
this.
marketed for like kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, not just kids, but I think that is the biggest market for the flow arts. Is like,
And it's really hard
the
to
10 to
market
14
to
kinda.
non-kids. If you walk around in a department store, or like, where are the toys for non-kids?
Yeah.
Sports
Yeah.
and video games, and there isn't like a leisure section for adults.
I remember
That
when those first came out, everyone was like tripping about it. It was like a PG.
Well, yeah, it was the, are you getting into more people, but are you also bringing the art down?
Yeah, kind of in some weird way, but marketed as spinballs, but in some, we had the discussion before in the world in some weird way. If it was marketed more like spin, instead of spinballs, like poi balls would have been a better name maybe. To get it out there.
It's
so
a funny,
people-
quirky name. You know, it was
I
a
said that to Kevin.
marketing decision.
Yeah, we've talked a lot.
In their marketing, they weren't just, oh, here's a thing, it looks cool. I think they even had like resources, like here's tutorial DVDs you get with, right?
Yeah, they come with instructional DVDs. He's put a fair bit of
That's super
resources into instruction and getting it out there. Now I think it's just a link to a website or something, but I think they're $25. And the new ones are actually more substantial. They have a nicer leash. He's upgraded them quite a bit. I ripped them apart to see how he made them durable. And yeah, the light unit, but it's still like,
They're good, but then they,
I-
the tops can get stuck or the way that there's like a, they're $20. There's all these
Yeah.
things.
I mean, they're not rechargeable. Like to me, it's like they're not rechargeable, and that's a deal breaker. Like that's been from the beginning, just like how do we make it rechargeable? Because you don't have to throw something away every time you light up.
Now put batteries and the battery thing can get,
That means that that's probably.
Yeah. And should I even talk about these, or should we just move on to closing?
I'm surprised you have them up there, actually.
Yeah. It's, got to represent all the facets of the industry.
Do you have
The dark side.
Just the Ultra Poi, do you have those?
I have them in pieces.
You can have my set.
I should put them up here. Yeah, if I just get a good set. I have like a few scraps. I did some destructive analysis